Take it from me. If your husband doesn't know how to chill, he's gonna end up looking like a clown on TV. Everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raffi, and I'm here to review Season 2, Episode 7 of the Real Challenging Housewives of Dubai. We start the episode off with Chanel Ayan throwing a launch party for her makeup line, Ayan Beauty, and she went all out for the event because it's taking place right underneath the Wiz Khalifa. There's so many people there. Vogue magazine was there. The runway show was nice. Basically everything that She by Sheree should have been, right? So Ayan, she's in the makeup chair. She's getting herself together. Meanwhile, the cast shows up one by one, starting with Caroline Strawberry. She looks really pretty with this red dress and this updo. And of course, she has to have her accessory attached to her ass, aka Sergio. You know, she never leaves home without him. And he always walks around like a proud side chick standing next to her like, yeah, I'm dating her. And of course, we see holier-than-thou judgmental Mother Teresa Sarah. She shows up, unfortunately, with the front of the show. So what's her name? And we see Taleen and Raphael 2.0. The runway show starts, and I feel like the models should have been wearing something a little bit more plain or basic looking, even though that's not Ayan's brand whatsoever. But I feel like what they were wearing took focus away from the makeup, because I kept watching like, oh, you know, I like what they're wearing. They're dressed really nicely, but that wasn't the whole objective. Ooh, look at me using big words. Objective of the whole event. You know, but overall, the whole event was really, really nice, especially when Ayan, she comes out in this long dress with this long train and this huge headpiece. Lisa Milan shows up last minute. After the whole event is all said and done, we've seen the runway show. Sergio probably got his diaper changed a couple of times. Judgmental Sarah is probably talking to the guests about their trauma. Then we see Caroline Brooks. She shows up, but you know she was secretly in the parking lot inside her Uber like, is this still going on? Well, nope, I'm not going out yet. You know, I'm gonna upstage these bitches. Because she comes in and she looks beautiful in this dress, but she comes towards the end where there's nothing else going on. Everybody's just mingling and having drinks and food. She goes up to Ayan like, oh, hey, Ayan. Oh, you look cute. I was stuck in traffic, so I'm just gonna go sit down, okay? And I'm like, wow, Brooks, such a hater. And then on top of that, she has a new friend. Blink twice if you need to be rescued from Brooks, because we all know how she treats her friendships on this show. Strawberry, down the garbage. Taleen, down the garbage. So if you join for next season, just get ready to get a little comfortable within the garbage, right? I think that there's seats right next to Taleen and Strawberry to the left. So eventually Brooks, she's sitting down next to Taleen. There's still some tension between each other. They're not speaking. Raphael 2.0, he tries to break the ice and he's telling Brooks, so, you know, Brooks, you know, what's been going on with you? Oh, nothing. Oh, okay. Well, you look pretty. Oh, well, thank you. Okay. Well, what about the glass house? Everything is good. Like, it's these short answers, and eventually he's like, you know what, fine. Sergio, let's go over and have a drink. You know, Sergio was looking at him like, no, I want to stay here with the women. Eventually he goes with Raphael and Taleen, and, you know, she tells Brooks, I've been sending you voice messages. What is going on? Brooks finally tells her like, look, I'm sorry for having a sharp tongue. Even though, Brooks, your version of a sharp tongue is something like, you know what, F your family, F your mother, F your great-grandmother, F your kids. You know what? I take it back. Like certain things, Brooks, once you throw it out there, you can't take it back. But Taleen is open to it. And she's like, you know what? Fine. Maybe we could be besties again. If only that was the case. You know, we obviously see how this whole episode plays out in the end, right? We see holier-than-thou Sarah. She starts talking about the guy that she's dating, the beautiful guy. She's like, you know, I was thinking, you know, we've been talking about trauma so much between me and him. And I finally think that maybe, you know, our connection, our souls could, you know, maybe they could blend even better if maybe he meets my family. And I'm like, your family? You're not even official yet, and you want him to meet your family? You didn't even taste the dick yet, and you already want to meet him, like the family? Like, Sarah, no. You're going about this whole thing very wrong. Like, don't let his beauty get to you, but too late. And Strawberry had me in the confessional because she's like, you know, Brooks, you know, she doesn't have to lean up her ass anymore, so now she has to come with a new friend? What is this, Renaissance? Like, she really does not see it for Brooks, but, you know, that was that. The whole event was really, really nice. Eventually, they jump into the pool with their clothes, with their nice, expensive outfits. You know, they're, you know, dancing and everything. And, you know, only the Dubai housewives could do something like this, because let it be any of the housewives in America, they couldn't jump in with their couture, you know, because they'll be in the pool like, oh no, I need to return this by tomorrow. This needs to dry off. So then we see judgmental Sarah, Lisa Milan, and Caroline Brooks meet up at this restaurant to get some drinks. Sarah, she's shocked that Strawberry invited her and Brooks to her housewarming party. To her housewarming party. To her housewarming party. Notice I said her and not her and Sergio. To her housewarming party. Here goes Brooks. Yeah, she's such a narcissistic person. Like, Brooks, what? Like, you just throw random things out there for what? So then they start talking about her favorite subject, Taleen. And she's like, I did apologize for my behavior because I did call her a beggar. Because according to Brooks, that episode, like 2 episodes ago, when she had that one-on-one with Taleen, when she was dressed like a sexy aluminum foil, when she was walking away from the table, she had looked back and called Taleen a beggar. Why? Because according to Brooks, she was begging her to get onto the show. She wanted to be on the show. And I mean, wish granted because now she's on the show. And do I believe Brooks? I feel like it's 50-50 because I feel like Brooks, she has a history of just making up her own narrative to fit her narrative. But at the same time, I could see Taleen telling her, I wouldn't mind joining your little show for the 2nd season as your friend if that's what you're interested in. I mean, I'm down or whatever. Please put me on the show, please. But both of them are flip-flops, so who knows? Then we get a date night between Lisa Milan and our husband, Richard. And it's something about his whole demeanor that reminds me of a vampire because Lisa asked him, so, what do you want to eat? Do you want to get steak? Yeah. Steak sounds good. I love steak. Okay, what about drinks? Do you want to get a drink? Yeah. I love drinks. Let's get a cocktail or two. I want a drink. Okay, so what about dessert? Do you want to get a cake or something? Yeah. I'm craving something sweet. I want something sweet. Let's get some cake. Like, he just looks like he's about to suck your blood, right? So then Lisa tells him, so, you obviously had time to get a pedicure recently, right? And he's just like, yeah. And I'm like... I've said it before that I have a foot fetish, but, the fact that he also knows how to take care of his feet, like, I see what you do for others. Like, it's not fair. But, Lisa, she starts getting emotional. She starts crying because she starts telling him, I don't have time for any of that. And Lisa forgets that she's also not just a full-time business owner, but she also took on the responsibility of a full-time mom. Not saying that Richard doesn't take care of his kids, but clearly they need to divide that time between the kids so that way it can't just be Lisa being a super mom 24/7 and Richard's over there just worrying about work. Like, it needs to be divided so that way she could also have her free time, right? So then she starts crying. She's getting emotional and he's hugging her and he's just like, it's okay. You're a good wife. You're a good mom. Everything is good between us. Everything is fine. And, if I was Lisa, I would have been like, you sure, Richard? You promise? You promise? You sure? Oh, okay, pull it out. And Richard, he's just like, how does a emotional companion Hermes bag sound to you? What about that? I could get you that. And I'm like, wow, Richard, like... even though those bags are hideous, the fact that he has the money to buy that, like, oh my God, just Jan, Lisa Milan, Strawberry, and Taleen all meet up at this rooftop of this building with this beautiful view of Dubai. Like, it was crazy that they're just sitting there just casually talking to each other with this nice background behind them. Like, this is how you do a group gathering, American housewives, because here in America, the housewives, they get together for a group gathering at somebody's dusty backyard. They get there, there's only one small table, like a little kid's table with a couple of chairs, not enough chairs for the whole cast, mosquitoes just flying all over the place, and just crackers to feed each other. Like, that's not luxurious. Like, this is luxurious, right? So then already Lisa, she's like, she's seeing that Ayan and Strawberry, their newfound friendship, she still feels some type of way about it. And then in the confessional, she's like, I just don't get the Stanberry hype. Why is everybody hopping on the Stanberry wagon? The only wagon that I ride is G. Like, Lisa, please, you want to take a spin on that Stanberry, wagon. At least drive it down the block or whatever, for a couple of minutes. You want to take a little spin on it. Stop it. And Ayan, she's like, I know Lisa feels some type of way about me and Strawberry, so I'm just not going to laugh too much at her jokes. Like, it is crazy. They're all jealous of each other, but they start talking about the cast trip that they're about to go on to Bali, and Lisa starts assigning roles to everybody. Like, you're responsible for partying. You're responsible for the food that we eat. Sarah, she's responsible for talking about our trauma for the 100th time again and boring us to death and getting us ready to sleep. So then she tells Taleen, so I met up with Brooks and Sarah the other day, and she told me that she apologized to you for calling you a beggar. This was news to Taleen because Taleen is looking at Lisa like, come again? When did she call me a beggar? She never apologized for that. She apologized for something else, which, yeah, I could have swore at the beginning of the episode, she apologized for having a sharp tongue, not necessarily for calling her a beggar. So, again, Brooks just making up her own narrative, right? And again, just when we thought we were taking like a little baby step forward, we take 10 steps back. So, we finally get to the dinner party from hell at Caroline Strawberry's house, and Sarah Hill's there too. Everybody shows up one by one, and Brooks, she's the very last guest to show up, but she shows up with an uninvited +1. So already she set the tone of where this party was heading, right? On top of that, she walks into Caroline Strawberry's house, not Sarah Hill's house, Caroline Strawberry's house with a sage in her hand, and she's just waving it around like, oh yeah, I need to cleanse the house of evil spirits. Like, Brooks, this is not your house. I'm pretty sure you would not like it if somebody walked into the glass house doing the same thing. Like, that was so bold. Like, if I was Caroline Strawberry, the second that I saw her doing that, I would have went up to her like, no, I'm sorry. I need to escort you out the house. You need to leave. Actually, no, we need to make a TV show and we need ratings. So, you know what? Come back in. And here goes Sarah Hill. Sarah Hill was so annoying. Like, he was just like a lost puppy looking at Brooks doing this. Like, honey, look, honey, look, honey. Like, he reminded me of Courage the Cowardly Dog. When he was trying to talk to the old lady, like, like, same energy. Like, it's pretty pathetic, honestly. Like, this is your, well, allegedly, this is your house. This is your wife's house. But this is your house. And you're just acting scared of Brooks. Like, you should have just told Brooks, like, Brooks, no. Put the shit down or just leave. Like, on top of that, you have an uninvited +1. So, Strawberry, she goes up to her like, what is this, darling? Like, she's not invited here because we only have but so many plates. And then Brooks, again, she is so bold. Like, Brooks is crazy. She was just like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. Like, Brooks, this is not your house. Like, that is crazy. And Strawberry just keeps telling her, no, but we don't have enough plates. I'm sorry, darling, but we can't. No, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So eventually, you know, they get the drinks going. They sit down. And I believe Brooks is sitting at the edge of the table with Sarah in between her and Taleen. And, you know, I'm looking at Brooks because, you know, obviously Brooks, when she has the liquor in her system, her mouth is already reckless, but with drinks in her system, it gets even more reckless. So she starts talking shit underneath her breath. And, you know, she was just like, fake. She's so fake. Obviously talking about Taleen, right? And Sarah, she's just laughing it up. And I'm like, oh, I thought Miss Holier Than Thou, Miss, you know, I'm too good to be, you know, shady or in the drama. I thought she wasn't with this type of behavior. What happened now? Because she was just and the entire time. I'm like, oh, okay, holier than thou, Sarah. So Strawberry, she gets up and she wants to make a toast. And she was like, okay, darling, I just want to make a toast because this is my first dinner party at my house. Here goes Sarah Hill. Oh, I want to talk too. Not right now. Like, first of all, it's pretty pathetic. It's pretty sad the way she talks to him because I wouldn't like it if a man talked to a woman like that, and I don't like it reversed like this either. Like, Sarah Hill, come on now. Like, you don't have any type of backbone. You know, you don't have any type of say. Like, it's pretty sad to see how, you know, they just kind of like throw you wherever and you just have to go along with it. Like, that's so sad to me. So then I believe Brooks, in the confessional, she's like, well, you know, just between me and you know, I heard that Michael actually pays for everything. He pays for the bills. He pays for the house. Jan, she also confirms this, that, yeah, Michael, you know, he gets, you know, drunk and then he starts opening his mouth like, yeah, I pay for the maids, the butler, the everything in the house. And I'm like, what? Like, do I believe that? I don't know, because Strawberry comes from a family of a lot of money. So I don't know why Michael would have to do such a thing. And Michael is the person that they were staying at a couple of episodes ago. Eventually, I believe Taleen comes over and she's like, who are you calling fake? Why do you keep calling me fake? Brooks, she's like, I wasn't talking about you. Like, Brooks, you know you're so full of shit. You know you were directing your comments towards her. Who else are you calling fake? And, you know, it's crazy because they just made up at the beginning of the episode and now here we are again. So Taleen is just like, it's just so interesting that you call me a beggar. You told Lisa that you called me a beggar. When was I ever begging you? And then they started getting into it. That was that. And for a second, I'm looking at Taleen because she had a glass in her hand. I'm like, is she about to throw the drink in her face? Because I feel like she was just tempted to do it. She was getting more and more pissed at her. So she was just like, you know what? Forget it. You're an alcoholic. You need to stop drinking. Put the drink down. So she walks away. Jan, she doesn't like any of this. So she tells Strawberry, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to head out. She probably knew the chaos that was about to come, right? Taleen goes over to Strawberry to vent to her about Brooks' behavior and being called a beggar. But Strawberry, she's over the whole situation. She tells her, look, darling, you can stay out here and enjoy the party, but I'm going back into my house and enjoying my money. I'm rich. So Taleen, she's by the pool with her husband, Raphael. She's trying to calm down and cool down because she is pissed, right? Next thing you know, we hear Taleen. Is Brooks. She's slowly making her way over to Taleen. Taleen, what is going on? You're still drinking? Put the drink down. Brooks, you should have just stayed in the house because why are you going over to Taleen? You know where things are going. You know that this issue between both of you is escalating. She's pissed. You're pissed and drunk. Like, you know, it's better to just stay away from each other, right? But now they're face to face. Taleen is telling her, you're the one slurring your words. You're an alcoholic. You could barely keep your eyes open. So now Raphael, he jumps in the middle, right? Because he sees Brooks getting closer. He's like, Brooks, you're my girl, but you need to stop. You're my girl, but you need to stop, right? Brooks turns around to head back into the house, and as she's walking away, Raphael yells out, you always do the most, Brooks. You're my girl, but you always do the most. You don't want to take it there with me. So Brooks, she hears this, and she makes a quick U-turn like, skirt. So now she's walking back over to Raphael, and she's like, wait a minute, so what do you want to do right now? Like, what do you want to do? You want to do this? And I'm like, okay, what is happening? And he's just like, you're not going to talk to my wife like that. And Raphael, the smartest thing that you could have done is just remove you and your wife from this situation. Just tell Brooks, you know what? She's going to talk to you when she's, calmer, when you're calmer, and then both of you could maybe talk. And then remove Taleen and just go home. But instead, you're over here arguing with another woman. On top of that, you have the whole hands going on in her face. And if I was Brooks, I would have took my high heel off because the second that you swing, I'm swinging on you as well. And now we're being dumped into the pool right behind you. So next thing you know, the bobblehead, Taleen, she becomes a bobblehead. And she's like, are you challenging my husband? And then Brooks, without even thinking, is your husband challenging me? 10 points just for coming up with that right then on the spot, right? So then Taleen, again, her bobblehead, she was just like, well, that's what it fucking looks because he's my fucking husband. Where's your fucking husband? And I'm like, relax with the neck. You're about to dislocate your entire head. And Brooks is like, I don't have a husband. Do I need to call one? Notice how she said she needs to call one, aka she has a list of options, right? I know that's right, Brooks. She's not going to call Zoran. She's like, do I need to call him? And then, Taleen, first of all, your husband is nothing to be proud of because next thing you know, he goes from 0 to 1,000,000. And he's like, I don't give a damn about these cameras. I don't give a damn about these cameras. I don't give a damn about these cameras. The cameras don't give a damn about you either. So then he walks away. And then as he's walking around Brooks, he's like, you know what? You need to watch your fucking mouth. Absolutely not. Again, I would have had my high heel in hand just in case because at this point, anything could happen, and then Lisa, I'm glad that Lisa looks so pretty in this all pink outfit that she had on. She jumps in defense of Brooks and she's like, whoa, you're not going to talk to a woman like that. You're not going to talk to her like that. And he's like, no, I don't give a fuck about these cameras. Fuck you, you dumb bitch, or whatever that he was saying. He's walking away. He's like, you need to watch your fucking mouth and just pointing his finger in her face. And I'm like, Raphael, just a sorry ass excuse as a man, and you're just giving us Raphael's a bad name. Just terrible. So he's walking around the house like Shrek, just storming around. Next thing you know, the producer, security, they come out of nowhere. And I'm like, how big is this house? And then Sergio, aka Courage the Cowardly Dog, he's over here telling Strawberry, who's sitting down at the table like the Queen of England, and he's just like, honey. And I'm just like, Sergio, you're so pathetic. Like, you see this big man trying to get abusive and aggressive with another woman in your house, and yet you're over here not doing anything? And Strawberry is just like, Sergio, do not get involved. Sit down, Sergio. And I'm like, Strawberry, again, Brooks, whether you like her or not at the moment, it's still not okay for a man to talk to her like that, or to even make those type of threats. And honestly, Raphael, I didn't want to jump to conclusions back then, but when we were first introduced to him, he always gave me the vibe that he was very aggressive like this, and he would hit a man or a woman. And unfortunately, look, Brooks is yelling back at Raphael, and Raphael is being rushed out the door by security. But if you listen closely, he says, I will fuck them up. Meaning he will fuck Lisa and Caroline Brooks up. And I believe it. I feel like he will actually swing on them, whether the cameras were there or not. I feel like if the things would have continued on face to face and he wouldn't have walked away, he probably would have swung on Brooks. And he's lucky that Richard, what's her name, Lisa Milan's husband wasn't there, because I'm pretty sure he will not have any of this. I'm pretty sure that he would have involved himself too, unlike Sergio's sorry ass excuse as a husband, like just sitting there like a lost puppy, like, what is going on here? Like, so pathetic. So then next thing you know, things become a street fight, right? Because now they take it onto the streets. And I'm like, what is going on here? I really thought I was watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like Caroline Brooks, she was Teresa when Teresa was worth watching, and Taleen and Shrek, they were what's her name, Melissa and Joe Gorga. Ugh. You know, and I felt like I was watching the christening episode. Like, what is happening here? Now they're in the middle of the street. Caroline Brooks, she's being held back by security, and she's like, Raphael, don't you ever fucking talk to me like that. Raphael is going back and forth with her. Taleen is yelling back at Brooks. Next thing you know, the camera slowly pans over to Taleen, and what is she doing? He would never emotionally fulfill you. Know that. I'm like, is that Alison Dubois smoking a cigarette? Like, who is that? It was Taleen. She was stressed out because she was just at the corner just smoking a cigarette like, oh, this bitch has my nerves ready. I'm like, oh no, Taleen, that is trashy, smoking a cigarette. And she was trying to hide too behind the little van or whatever. But this was crazy though, because there was producers, camera people, security, they were all on the streets. It was looking like a whole carnival, right? I'm like, what is happening here? You know, and then Sarah explained it in the confessional that you cannot be yelling like this or getting into a street fight in public in Dubai. In America, it's a whole different story. You could get your ass beat any second, but here in Dubai, there's laws against that. The second that your voice starts to raise a little too high, you go to jail. You know, and we saw that in season 1 when Brooks and Sarah got into it and the producers had to step in like, hey, both of you bitches calm down. You're about to go to jail. And look at this. And you know, that's why Strawberry was so calm and she didn't want to like really get involved or whatever, because she just got this house. You know, Sergio, well, she just got this house. He's just a guest, right? You know, for now, for a couple of more years. But she just got this house. She doesn't need the police showing up, but you know, this is a crazy way to, you know, have a whole welcoming party for your house. Like, this was a chaotic episode. And again, Brooks, she could be crazy, psychotic, whatever, an instigator, messy, whatever, but that still does not excuse his behavior towards her. Like, that was very uncalled for. He could have de-escalated this whole situation or removed his wife in a much more calmer way. He didn't have to make these type of threats. You know, so my thing is, like, what happens now moving forward? Because I don't know, there's just no going back from his threats. Like, I'm gonna F you up. Like, oh, okay, let's just forgive that and let's just move on and we could be friends again. I don't see her and Taleen ever being friends again. And it's crazy because this friendship was what, 10 years? And now look, they're about to come to blows. And I'm pretty sure that they would have came to blows too if Raphael wasn't in the middle. You know, somebody would have swung on somebody eventually if this whole thing would have continued in Strawberry's house, but just a mess. Let me know what you all thought about this whole entire episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.